All right, Ira Mehlman joins us now. He's the media director at FAIR, the Federation for American Immigration Reform, checking in with us from the West Coast. Ira, good morning. Thanks so much for being with us.
Thanks very much. Good morning.
I want to read you something that J.D. Vance said yesterday and get your reaction to this. He has been in India for the last few days and was speaking to the press. As it pertains to the issue related to Mr. Abrego Garcia and his deportation to El Salvador, the vice president said, I think there's actually a deeper issue going on, which is that you see some radical judges at the district court level who are trying to layer so much process on top of the immigration system that it makes it impossible to function. We have over 20 million illegal aliens in the United States. Are we not allowed to deport them? Because if we're not allowed to deport them, then these district courts are saying fundamentally is they reject the will of the American people as it was expressed in November of 2024. What's your reaction to what the vice president said there?
Well, I think he has it pretty accurately. This administration was elected on a platform that they were going to remove people who are in the country illegally. They've effectively stopped new people from coming in, and they're using all the tools that are available to get people out of here. We're talking about here is a very small group of people who have been removed under the Alien Enemies Act. But there are other ways that are available to the administration to remove people. They are removing a lot of people through the normal deportation process. They are canceling parole and work authorization. This is going to be a combination of strategies. In addition to actually scooping people up and removing them from the country, they're going to create conditions under which people decide it no longer makes any sense to remain here. They came in large numbers because from the previous administration, coming here was rewarded. If you take away those rewards, if you make it clear to people, you're not going to be able to get jobs, you're not going to be able to get access to non-essential, non-emergency benefits and services, eventually you're going to decide you're going to go home on your own. So it's going to be a combination of things. The judges have stepped in, thrown a little sand in the gears, but that doesn't mean things aren't going to be happening anyway.
It's interesting to me. One of the things that you said is that the illegal border crossings have basically come to a stop. I feel like for the first month of this new administration, we were getting almost daily update numbers showing the comparison to a year ago, where we were in terms of illegal border crossings. Those numbers are not being floated nearly as much because there's not really much information to share. How did they do that as quickly as they did?
Well, they demonstrated to people that there is no point in putting your life savings in the hands of these criminal cartels to get you to the border because we're not going to let you into the United States. Again, we're dealing here with rational people. People make decisions based on their expectations. And if you have no expectation of being able to get into the United States illegally, you're not going to make the effort. And so what we're seeing now is the numbers have slowed to a trickle, and they've done it without any additional legislation. For 4 years, you had President Biden saying, I can't control the border. You have to give me new legislation. Mostly he wanted amnesty for the people who were here illegally. He wanted all kinds of new avenues for people who otherwise might not qualify to come into the country. And he was holding the security of the country hostage to the legislation that he wanted. Congress never passed it, but this administration has demonstrated that the laws that exist are perfectly fine. We can get people to stop coming to the country illegally simply by demonstrating that we have the resolve to put you back across the border, not to release you into the country. That's precisely what has happened, and we've seen the results. Back in December of 2023, we had about 11,000 people a day coming across the border illegally. Now it's down to maybe 100 or 200 a day. I mean, that is a huge difference, and it's been done with all the laws that Joe Biden had at his disposal as well.
Yeah. It's almost like that the district court judges are providing de facto amnesty for some of those illegals who are in the country, as you mentioned just a moment ago. We have seen some of the deportation numbers of previous presidents. Barack Obama is one that's been pointed out, where 2.5 million were deported during his administration without a single district court judge, federal district court judge, raising an issue, and now the number is far smaller in these first 3 months of the Trump administration, and yet the number of lawsuits and the number of injunctions that have been put in place by federal district court judges, and it's almost too many to keep up with at this point.
Yeah, Obama was kind of cooking the books. The people that they were catching at the border, they were putting back across the border. Normally, they had not counted those as deportations. Those were just people they sent back across the border. Under the Obama administration, they counted those as deportations. But nevertheless, I mean, he did do obviously a lot more than the Biden administration did. But the Biden administration is sending people back that they catch coming across the border. What they are doing that Obama generally did not do was be removing people from the interior of the country. So we're seeing a lot more of that now. And I think that's what's got the advocates riled up here, that they're actually removing people who have come into the United States, found their way into the interior of the country. Those people are deportable as well. There's sort of been this idea that you can only be deported if you have committed some other crime once you get to the United States illegally. And that simply isn't the case. If you're in the country illegally, that's all they need to remove you. That is the penalty for being in the country illegally. You get sent back to whatever country you came from. And that, by the way, is going on every day through the normal deportation process. You catch somebody, you put them before an immigration judge, a deportation order is issued, and the person is removed from the country.
I've got a theory on that, and you may think that I'm way off on this, and that's fine. We can certainly disagree on it. I'm not convinced that this administration is that concerned with people who are here illegally but are not committing crimes, that are working in service industries, that are working in agricultural industries, that they recognize that that's part of the economic engine in the United States. And so the focus is on violent criminals and illegals, and we've certainly seen some high-profile cases. Do you think I'm way off base on that?
Well, no, I mean, obviously, like any law enforcement agency, they're going to focus on the really bad guys first. But that doesn't mean, just like any other police force in the country, it doesn't mean they stop enforcing laws against anybody else. So while, you're going after the gangbangers, you're going after the criminals, you at the same time, when you find somebody who is simply in the country illegally, those laws can be enforced as well. It's like the local police in your community. Obviously, their focus is on catching the really hardened criminals. But if they happen to catch you shoplifting, it doesn't mean they're going to say, "Oh, it's not worth our time." So they're doing both. As the vice president pointed out, there's 18, 20 million people in the country illegally. You can't catch them all. There's only so many resources available. So, what they're also doing at the same time, as I mentioned before, is they're creating conditions under which people decide to go home on their own. And we're already seeing evidence of that, that people have decided that they're not going to succeed here in the United States illegally, and they're making rational decisions. You've also had the Secretary of Homeland Security, Kristi Noem, say to people, if you leave on your own, we are not going to prevent you from ever coming back under different circumstances. But if we catch you and we remove you, you're never coming back. So again, they're creating rational choices for people, and people are starting to make those choices. And again, we have 20 million people or so. They're not all going to leave overnight, but over time, we can see substantial reductions.
Ira Mehlman with the Federation for American Immigration Reform, FAIR. Last thing for you, in terms of the legal immigration process, what does FAIR believe that process should look like? Got about a minute.
It should look like a merit-based program. Right now, we have one that is based on nepotism. People who are coming to the United States through the legal process are primarily relatives of other people who have come recently. What we need is a system that says you come, you bring your spouse, you bring your minor children, but beyond that, there's going to be no expectation that you're going to be able to bring all your family. What we should be doing is selecting people based on an objective assessment of how they're likely to contribute to the United States, just like a lot of countries do, Canada, Australia. That's the kind of policy that we should have, and hopefully it's one that Congress can turn its attention to, because this can't be done by executive action. That has to be Congress that makes those changes.
Ira Mehlman, Media Director with FAIR. Appreciate your time. Always good to visit, and we'll check in soon.
Great. Thanks very much.
Ira Mehlman, Federation for American Immigration Reform. It's funny, those daily border updates about the number of people crossing, not seeing a lot of those because there's not a whole lot to report these days. We will wrap up the Thursday edition of Mornings with Richard Cross with you when we come back on Super Talk Mississippi.
Don't you